That's why my final score for Interstellar Species is going to be... Interstellar Species is a new addition to the Starfinder lineup, at least it is at the time of this recording. If you're wondering about whether or not you should add it to your collection, I'm going to tell you what's in it. We're going to talk about the new class. We're also going to talk about some of the extras that can be found inside this book, and whether or not I think this is a good addition to your tabletop game or just your Starfinder collection. Before we dive into all of that, if you love role-playing games or if you just love hearing about world lore around your favorite tabletop role-playing games, then please let me know by hitting that like button so you can see more of this. Interstellar Species was released in November of 2022. It is a decent-sized supplement. It is probably the last one that we will see for the year 2022. And one of the first things that this supplement gives us is the new class, the Evolutionist. The galaxy is a very strange and a very dangerous place to be, and the Evolutionists can adapt themselves to tackle these dangers head-on, whether that be through magical tradition, through cybernetic augmentation, or even just plain old genetic mutation. Literally adapt and overcome is the Evolutionist motto. However, the abilities that you control, the mass powers that you wield to change your genetic makeup, don't always work the way you want them to. Your own evolution, your own abilities, they also boast a will of their own. Such is the danger when experimenting with genetic mutation. The Evolutionist class is very interesting. I haven't seen too many things that are like it, and Starfinder seems to enjoy the classes where you have to balance or maintain some kind of resource, class resource. You can see this with the Solarian, you can see this with the Vanguard. I'm probably missing a couple of other classes here, but the Evolutionist is no different. Basically, with the Evolutionist, the longer you stay in combat, the more dangerous you are to your enemies, but you're also more dangerous to yourself. As an Evolutionist, your powers come in several flavors: Eldritch Horror, Mechanized Cybernetics, Sepulchral, or, for another word for this, Necromantic Powers. There's also a flavor for Biotech, if you want to have that more flowery, plant-based feel. However, even with this choice, a delicate flower, you are not. I will be doing a full deep dive on the Evolutionist class in the future. Now, there is also some new flavors for the existing classes as well, so they can feel like an Evolutionist in their own unique and mechanical way. The Biohacker gets their own fields of studies, their own theorems, which are more in line with the abilities of Evolutionist. The Envoy will gain new improvisations, and the Mechanic, they will gain access to a new drone chassis as well as new mechanic tricks. The Nanocyte gains new knacks, and these cover level ranges of 2 to 18. The Operative, of course, gains new specializations. The Precog also gains a new anchor with this, and the Soldier will gain a couple of new fighting styles that you can choose from. And even if your character is well established, you can still add some of these traits, these new abilities, to give a new flavor if you wanted to as you progressed. At least many classes will allow you to do this as they level up. Now, Interstellar Species does give us quite a bit more information on specific species, on specific races. It doesn't cover all of them, but what you will find is a chart in the book so that you can see every playable species that exists, where to find them, and on what page you will find them. We are dealing with a bit of book bloat right now when it comes to Starfinder, but there are 25 included races in Interstellar Species where they cover more what the planet is like, what the society is like, some new names, possibly some more breeding habits if you were into something like that. The species index is pretty nice because if you were looking for something specific, now you know exactly where to find it. Now, if you hadn't figured out the roadmap or the formula that Paizo was using for creating species or creating your own custom characters, they have included basically their entire roadmap and how they do things in the Species Creator tool. It talks about the things that you need to think about when you're talking about ability score adjustments, size, speed, hit points. And if you need to get a species or a creature on the fly, there's a couple of tables here as well that can be quite handy. All in all, the species tool is quite robust. I enjoy the things it makes you think about beyond just the pure stats of things. For a species that you are building, what does their society look like? What does their homeworld look like? We did get a little bit of this in the Galaxy Exploration Manual. However, this one was more tailored to creating specific planets, creating whole societies. not just the creatures that live in them. Now, of the species that are included in this book, I'm not going to cover all of them, but I will give you a few of my own personal highlights, one being the Astrozoans. The Astrozoans have lightly touched much of the lore within Starfinder, however, we haven't really known a ton about them. There was nothing concrete until this supplement. Unless, of course, you went to the Pathfinder books and pulled your information from there. The Contemplative is a floating brain with a tiny little body, and I just think they look neat. Kobolds have made a return to the Paizoverse because they haven't always been in the Starfinder version of it, but now they do. Now, unfortunately, if you're looking for more information on the Gnolls, they were not included in this book. They only exist on the Alien Species deck. Now, a personal favorite of mine, the Patra, they are also included in this book. Now, one thing to note that only some of these entries include race-specific feats. The Patra are one species entry among many which do get species-specific feats. However, not all species get race-specific feats. The other unfortunate thing is these are just mixed into the general writing of the book, spattered throughout. There is an index at the back where you can find specific feats or you can find the spells that they're talking about, and it gives you a page number, but you still have to do quite a bit of page flipping. Everyone's favorite tiny little plant people are also included in this, the Raxalites. The Cyphozoan are a new alien species, at least I presume them to be a new species. I haven't seen them before. They're basically sentient jellyfish. I know many of you are fans of the SRO. They have their own entry here as well. The Uplifted Bears are greatly expanded here, along with the Vlaka. There is another nice addition towards the back of Interstellar Species, and this would be a gallery of NPCs, complete with stat blocks. Within the back of these pages, there are 72 NPCs that you could incorporate into your games. And many of your NPCs will fit your broad categorizations, your assassins, scholars. There are many wide varieties of things to select from here. As I mentioned, not only were the stat blocks included for these characters, these NPCs, something nice Paizo also included were some ways to change the stat blocks, how to make them fit your own game, how to modify them, just in case you were really struggling to come up with your own ideas. Lore-wise, this is a huge addition to Starfinder, and while you do get some more feats, you do get some more spells, it wasn't the focus of this book, so if you were looking for more items, there are a couple, but I wouldn't buy it based solely looking for more items or spells or feats. If you were looking for more information on playable races, you should absolutely look at picking this book up. And the addition of a new class to play is not a bad thing either. This book is everything that I thought it was going to be. It has some of my favorite species covered in here, along with others that I didn't expect to see. The Evolutionist Class looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to play. I don't think the mechanics are going to be too difficult to wrap one's head around. I thought it was interesting to see species-specific feats, which was something that's been included in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but we haven't really had anything like it in Starfinder up until now. The art that's included in this book, the creature drawings, all of them are just so good. I think this is a great addition. That's why my final score for Interstellar Species is going to be 5 out of 5 stars. Starfinder is a massive and expansive game with a solid mechanical system underpinning the whole thing. If you would like to find out how to play Starfinder for free without buying any books, I suggest you watch this video here. Thank you to all of my patrons for your ongoing and consistent support of me and the channel. It means the absolute world to me. My name's Nathaniel. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.